Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So uh, I am sharing the PPT. Is it visible?
Yes, we can see it. Yes.
Okay, great. Welcome to today's session on introduction to the Prakrit language. So as you all know, Prakrit is the very oldest language of India, and it is also known as a vernacular language, जो हम जिसको जन भाषा भी कहते हैं, जो आम लोगों की भाषा कहलाती थी, जिसको छोटे तबके से लेके बड़े तबके तक सब लोग बोलते थे। और अगर हम संस्कृत की बात करें तो संस्कृत एक लिटरेरी लैंग्वेज के रूप में जानी जाती थी। और दोनों ही अगर लैंग्वेज की बात करें तो बोथ आर लाइक सिस्टर्स। एंड संस्कृत एक लिटरेरी जो क्लास थी वो बोलते थे, और प्राकृत सब लोग बोलते थे, लिटरेरी वाले भी और इलिटरेट लोग भी बोलते थे। तो प्राकृत often overshadowed by Sanskrit is one of the most significant ancient language in India, and it was the language of the people, and more importantly the medium of transmission of our as you all know, Jain philosophies and Buddhist philosophies. So today we will explore its linguistic roots, its historical uses, dialects, and philosophical implications, particularly its profound role in Jain religious literature. So now let's start. So, what is Prakrit? You all already know. So, it was the opposite of actually Sanskrit, which was polished and refined. Sanskrit is very polished and refined with the grammatical things, and while Sanskrit was reserved for religious rituals, light discourse, Prakrit was practical and very expressive, uh, perfect for reaching the common person. And it served as a linguistic bridge between Vedic Sanskrit and modern Indian languages, embodying both spontaneity and literary richness. So the derived from it, it is the Prakrit word derived from Prakriti, which means swabhav, nature, which is swabhavik, and the people's language. This is a people's language free from grammatical complexity. It is not born from the Sanskrit, and it preceded and nurtured it. So this is the primary introduction of Prakrit. So the etymology and definition of Prakrit. Um, there is a sutra that Prakritya Swabhavena Siddham Prakritam, which is formed naturally, is called Prakrit. Let's look what let's look at what the word Prakrit means. The term comes from Prakriti, meaning natural or original form. So one definition is Prakritya Swabhavena Siddham Prakritam, and that which comes into being naturally. Rajashekhara, a 10th century poet and theorist, described Prakrit as the yoni, which is called womb, of all refined literary languages. And Vakpati Raj, which is the author of Gaudvaho, the 8th century poet, used a metaphor: just as all rivers flow into the sea. It is in a Prakrit verse, Sayalayo Semvanti. This is, but I'm just describing only the meaning. So he used the metaphor: just as all rivers flow into the sea and return to the land through rainfall, all languages flow from and return to Prakrit. So thus Prakrit is not derived from Sanskrit. Rather, Sanskrit evolved as a grammatical refined form after Prakrit and already emerged. So these are some etymology and definitions of Prakrit. Now, various names of Prakrit. There are various names mentioned in literature, in various literature and various authors also. So there are Pai, Aye for Prakrit language. Prakrit, the Prakrit version of Prakrit is Pai, Pai Aye, Pauya, Pagada, Pagada, Bhagata, Paya, Pagaya, Payada. So these the word Pagat is also found in Jain literature, and Acharya Hemchand has used the word Pagaya in commentary of Visheshavashak Bhashya commentary, and the word Pau is used in Karpur Manjari of Raj Shekhara, and Paya is used in Gaud Bahu of Bhagwati Raj. So all these names has been used in the sense of Prakrit. And in Natya Shastra of Bharat Muni, it has been called Prakrit. So these are the various names of Prakrit language. Now, folk and popular nature of Prakrit. Prakrit was the language of uh, the common people like villagers, merchants, ascetics, and even kings also. So it represented the emotional and cultural expression of Indian society. So its natural rhythm, absence of grammatical rigidity, and connection to daily life made it beloved and accessible. So it's very spoken by common people, simple, sweet, and expressive. And unlike Sanskrit, which often remained confined to ritual and elite learning, Prakrit was democratic in nature, spoken by everyone, regardless of class or caste. So this is why it remained deeply rooted in Indian oral and written tradition, both. इसको मैं थोड़ा सा हिंदी में ही बता, जो हिंदी के लोग हैं तो वो भी थोड़ा इसको समझ लें कि प्राकृत जो है जन भाषा, जैसे कि मैंने बोला, लोक भाषा भी इसको कह सकते हैं, जन भाषा भी कह सकते हैं, जो कॉमन पीपल, जो आम लोगों के द्वारा बोली जाती थी। और ये क्योंकि जो संस्कृत का जैसा संस्कृत एक व्याकरण में बंधी हुई भाषा है, लेकिन ये एक जो भाषा है प्राकृत एक पानी की तरह, पानी जैसे होता है ना कि वो कहीं भी अपनी जगह बना लेता है, उसी की तरह ये प्राकृत भी रही है, अपने ग्रामेटिकल रिजिडिटी नहीं रही है इसमें। और डेमोक्रेटिक इन नेचर, मतलब ये जन, जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना, जब हम डेमोक्रेसी की बात करते हैं तो जनतंत्र, लोकतंत्र की बात करते हैं, क्योंकि ये जन भाषा थी तो सबको कहने का, बोलने का अधिकार था, अपनी भाषा में बोलने का, अपनी भाषा में लिखने का अधिकार था। तो ये क्योंकि आम भाषा थी इसलिए इसको ऐसा प्राकृत वाज इन डेमोक्रेटिक इन इट्स नेचर। सो इस प्रकार का उसको बोला गया है। और ओरल ट्रेडिशन, जैसे कि आप सभी जानते हैं, शुद्ध परंपरा चलती आ रही थी, और रिटन ट्रेडिशन, इस दोनों में ही प्राकृत भाषा के बहुत बड़ा साहित्य हमारे पास उपलब्ध होता है। ओके, नाउ why Prakrit endured? Why? Because it is easy to learn and understand. Prakrit endured across centuries because of three key traits, like simplicity. Its grammar and phonetics were uncomplicated, allowing easy communication. Another one, we can say flexibility. It involved in with the regional variations like Maharashtri, Shaur Seni, and Magadhi. And we can say adaptability. It absorbed regional idioms and words from others' culture. So because it resonates with the common man. It was used in religious teachings, royal inscriptions also, dramas also, and lyrical poetry. So the longevity and relevance of Prakrit can be seen in how many Indian languages today still carry its legacy in vocabulary and grammar. So Prakrit have rich vocabulary, medium for literature, religion, and daily life. So these are some of the key traits of Prakrit language. So why Prakrit endured across centuries. The another slide is it is used by Bhagwan Mahavir and Gautam Buddha. We all know Bhagwan Mahavir and Gautam Buddha, Mahatma Buddha choose Prakrit to teach people. One of the most revolutionary aspect of Prakrit is its use by Bhagwan Mahavir and Buddha. And these enlightened teachers did not use elite languages like Sanskrit to deliver their messages. Instead, they choose dialect of Prakrit, such as Ardha Magadhi and Magadhi. Ardha Magadhi used in mostly Jain Agamas and Magadhi used in बुद्धिस्ट कैनन्स. सो यहाँ ये बताने की बात है कि भगवान महावीर और गौतम बुद्ध के उपदेशों का माध्यम जो रही है वो प्राकृत भाषा रही है. क्यों? संस्कृत भी थी उस टाइम, तो उन्होंने संस्कृत को ना चुनकर प्राकृत को ही क्यों चुना? क्योंकि उन्होंने इसलिए प्राकृत एलाइट लैंग्वेज को नहीं चुना, संस्कृत को नहीं चुना. क्यों? क्योंकि वो अपने उपदेशों को जन जन तक पहुंचाना चाहते थे. वो प्राणी मात्र का कल्याण चाहते थे. संस्कृत में ऐसा था कि जो संस्कृत पीपल है आपस में पहले शास्त्रार्थ होते थे. आप लोगों को पता होगा शास्त्रार्थ होते थे. संस्कृत में शास्त्रार्थ हो रहे हैं और वो एक अलग क्लास के लोग करते थे जो लिटरेरी क्लास होता था. तो लोगों में होता था लेकिन बाकी के लोग बैठे रहते थे उनको अर्थ समझ में नहीं आता था. तो एक तरीके से वो बात जो भी है वो उन तक नहीं पहुंच पाती थी. तो इसलिए भगवान महावीर और महात्मा बुद्ध ने प्राकृत को अपने उपदेशों का माध्यम बनाया कि वो बिना किसी कास्ट क्रीड, बिना किसी भी डिफरेंस के वो जन जन तक उनके वो ये कहते थे कि हर व्यक्ति को अपना कल्याण करने का क्या है, राइट्स है. ऐसा नहीं वो भाषा के कारण उसको ऐसा ना हो बैरियर आ जाए. तो इस वजह से उन्होंने प्राकृत लैंग्वेज को अपने उपदेशों का माध्यम चुना. सो बाय डूइंग सो दे रीच टू मासेस रिगार्डलेस ऑफ एजुकेशन और कास्ट. इसमें एजुकेशन और कास्ट की भी जरूरत नहीं थी जो मासेस तक पहुंचने के लिए. सो इट हेल्प्ड democratize spiritual knowledge. So today the Jain Agamas and the Buddhist Tripitakas are not just religious texts, they are linguistic treasures that reveals how profound philosophy can be conveyed in a simple, accessible language. So this is the significance of Prakrit language, which is used by Bhagwan, the last Tirthankara, 24th Tirthankara, Bhagwan Mahavira and Mahatma Buddha. Prakrit in public and royal life. You all know there are the inscriptions of King Ashoka and King Kharvel. They all are in Prakrit language. And in Brahmi Lipi. So Prakrit was not limited to religious discourse, and it was the official language of many ancient inscriptions. The edicts of Emperor Ashok issued across the Indian subcontinent were written in Prakrit using Brahmi script. Language and script is very different. कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है कि लोग स्क्रिप्ट को भी लैंग्वेज मान लेते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है. आप अगर साउथ में भी चले जाएंगे तो वहाँ पर भी प्राकृत के इंस्क्रिप्शंस मिलते हैं, और लेकिन उसकी जो स्क्रिप्ट है वो कन्नड़ होती है, तमिल होती है. तो जो किंग अशोक के टाइम के और जो खारवेल के टाइम के जो हाथी गुम्फा शिलालेख हैं और अशोक के बहुत सारे शिलालेख हैं, वो सारे के सारे क्या हैं, ब्राह्मी लिपि में हैं। क्योंकि आर्कियोलॉजिकल साइट्स पे आप विजिट करते हो, आप इसी लिपि को जानना भी ज़रूरी है, सिर्फ लैंग्वेज नहीं, क्योंकि उस टाइम की लिपि ब्राह्मी लिपि थी, तो उसको भी आप कभी लर्न करेंगे तो ज़रूर कीजिएगा। और जो लैंग्वेज होती थी वो प्राकृत लैंग्वेज होती थी। कुछ एक दो मानसेहरा एंड शाहबाजगढ़ी, ये दो जो इंस्क्रिप्शन है ये खरोष्टी लिपि में है, बाकी ब्राह्मी लिपि में, ऐसा। सो सिमिलरली द हाथी गुम्फा इंस्क्रिप्शन जो कि उड़ीसा में है, हाथी गुम्फा इंस्क्रिप्शन, वो भी खारवेल का जो है वो भी प्राकृत लैंग्वेज में है और ब्राह्मी लिपि में है। तो इस तरह ये एक रॉयल और क्या बोलते हैं, एक रॉयल लैंग्वेज रही है हमारे प्राचीन समय में। और इसको जब हम देखते हैं तो और जो अशोक के जो शिलालेख हम बात कर रहे थे, अशोक के शिलालेखों की बात कर रहे थे, तो उसमें उन्होंने बहुत सारे, इसके बारे में भी मैं आपके आगे बताऊंगा, आगे की स्लाइड्स में कुछ कुछ जो मैंने जगहों का नाम लिया है, तो वहाँ पर ये सारी चीज़ें बताई गई हैं। सो दिस ऑल शोज दैट प्राकृत वाज यूज्ड नॉट ओनली फॉर communication with the public, but also for formal governance, law and royal declarations. So its authority as a medium of truth and power reinforce its historical status as the language of the people and the state. So these are some of the significance of Prakrit language, and this is another significance, vocabulary and influence. In this slide, the 3 points are there: absorbed word from all Indian languages, connected to regional and folk dialect, and root of many modern Indian languages. आपको पता होगा कि बहुत सारी जो हमारे रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस है, उसका जो विकास हुआ है, ओरिजिन हुआ है, वो प्राकृत लैंग्वेज से ही हुआ। सो बिकॉज ऑफ इट्स रीजनल यूज एंड एडेप्टेबिलिटी, प्राकृत बिकम अ melting pot of linguistic features, and it observed local expressions, folk idioms, and even words from tribal communities. So in return, it gives rise to new languages such as Marathi, which comes from Maharashtri Prakrit. जो मराठी आज हम बोलते हैं महाराष्ट्र में, वो कौन सी, वो भी प्राकृत यानी महाराष्ट्री प्राकृत से आई है। इसी तरह गुजराती, बंगाली, राजस्थानी एंड हिंदी ऑल्सो। हिंदी लोग एक लोग में मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग है, या एक लोग संस्कृत को हिंदी का वो मान लेते हैं कि हिंदी कहाँ से आई, संस्कृत से आई, और संस्कृत जननी है सभी भाषाओं की। ये कहने में एक श्रद्धा के हिसाब से अच्छा लगता है, बट लिंग्विस्टिकली दिस इज नॉट करेक्ट। अगर आप किसी लिंग्विस्ट से पूछेंगे तो वो ये कभी भी नहीं बोलेगा कि संस्कृत से भाषाओं का उद्गम हुआ है, संस्कृत से ही सभी भाषाएं आई हैं, ऐसा कोई नहीं बोलेगा। जननी है, ऐसा कोई नहीं बोलेगा। अगर लिंग्विस्टिक से बात करेंगे, लिंग्विस्टिक यानी भाषा विज्ञानी से बात करेंगे, तो वो यही बोलेंगे कि प्राकृत, क्योंकि प्राकृत से अपभ्रंश हुआ। अपभ्रंश इज ऑल्सो अ लैंग्वेज, द नेक्स्ट लेवल लैंग्वेज, एंड अपभ्रंश से हिंदी लैंग्वेज आई। सो वी कैन से प्राकृत is the grandmother of Hindi. प्राकृत is the grandmother of Hindi, क्योंकि प्राकृत से अपभ्रंश हुआ and अपभ्रंश से हिंदी आई. So these are the things, and it also influenced Sanskrit itself, as seen in Sanskrit dramas that often had Prakrit speaking characters. अगर हम संस्कृत ड्रामास की भी बात आगे आएगी आगे की चीज़ों में, लेकिन मैं यहाँ पर भी उसको क्लियर कर देता हूँ कि संस्कृत की जब संस्कृत प्लेस की बात करते हैं, ड्रामा की बात करते हैं, तो भरत के नाट्य शास्त्र में जब बाद में अश्वघोष, भास, कालिदास, शूद्रक, भवभूति, ऐसे बहुत सारे नाटककार हुए हैं, बहुत महान नाटककार हुए हैं जिन्होंने बहुत सारे ड्रामा लिखे हैं, ये शरीपुत्रम अश्वघोष का है, और अभिज्ञान शाकुंतलम, मालविकाग्निमित्रम, इस तरह के ये कालिदास के हैं। तो ये जितने भी नाटक हैं, अगर इनमें हम देखें तो इसमें ऑलमोस्ट 40% 50% इसमें प्राकृत प्राकृत डायलॉग्स हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि उसमें जो भी कॉमन पीपल की लैंग्वेज में जब होती थी उसमें, तो कॉमनर लैंग्वेज यानी प्राकृत को ही यूज करते थे। और जहाँ लिटरेरी या राजा किंग बात कर रहे हैं, ऋषि मुनि बात कर रहे हैं, तो वहीं संस्कृत का प्रयोग किया जाता था। तो इस तरह बहुत सारे प्राकृत ड्रामा, संस्कृत ड्रामा में प्राकृत स्पीकिंग कैरेक्टर्स हैं। एंड प्राकृत's elastic and living nature allowed him to thrive in multiple settings: poetry, conversation, drama, religious texts, and inscriptions, demonstrating its extraordinary linguistic.
Yeah, I'm unable to hear Rianji.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
Yeah, I think we lost him. Yeah. Okay.
Am I
All right.
audible?
Yes, we can hear you too.
Okay, okay. Sorry for disconnection.
Oh, no.
So I'm talking about the Prakrit influence Sanskrit itself, as seen in Sanskrit dramas that often had Prakrit speaking characters. So this is actually Prakrit is in everywhere because it is a common language, and in spiritual text, in cosmology text, in metaphysics text, I think प्राकृत ऐसा कोई भी विषय नहीं है जिसका प्राकृत साहित्य में हम लोग ना देखते हों उसको। तो सारे ही लगभग और सभी विषय जो हैं वो प्राकृत साहित्य में हम लोग देखते हैं। ओके, प्रसादम, वन मोर स्टूडेंट joined. Prasadam Academics. May I know your name? Prasadam Academics.
Yeah, sir, is this the Prakrit class?
Yes, this is Prakrit class.
So yes, we are Diya Kamdar and Krishna Shah. We have joined this class. Actually, we had another class going on, so we couldn't join earlier.
Okay.
And we are joining through this banner of Parasam Academics. Actually, we are Sadhvijis, but
Okay.
I think you must know the background.
So you are only one, or you are a group of Sadhvijis?
We are two of us joining in the Prakrit class, in the diploma class right now.
Okay, great. So it's already 1 hour, 45 minutes gone, but I run through it with some. I summarize it what I explain here. So now nature and historical roots of Prakrit. Is this visible now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. So Prakrit is classified within the Indo-Aryan subgroup of the larger Indo-European language family. And this family includes Pali, Sanskrit, and modern Indian languages like Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, etc. So the Indo-Aryan languages trace their development back to early migration into the Indian subcontinent and reflect the evolution of spoken language over centuries. So linguistics divide the history of Indo-Aryan languages into three major periods. So related to all three major linguistic periods, it's the old Indo-Aryan period is marked which is 1600 BC to 600 BC. So it marked by the Vedic language like Vedic language is not like Chandas. Chandas is the Vedic language. It is known as Chandas, and every Sanskrit text. And the Middle Indo-Aryan, which is 600 BCE to 1000 CE. So it includes Prakrit and Pali used in Jain and Buddhist traditions. And modern Indo-Aryan, 1000 CE to present. So modern Indo-Aryan period begin around 1000 CE and includes language like Hindi, Bengali, and Punjabi, etc. So Prakrit acts as the linguistic bridge between Vedic, Sanskrit, and modern Indian language. Unlike Sanskrit, which was standardized and codified, Prakrit was a naturally evolving language used in every conversations. It was shaped by regional uses, oral transmissions, and practical communication needs. And it is deeply connected with the Vedic language Chandas, which is called Chandas. And Prakrit evolved naturally from spoken vernaculars, adopted by already we discussed Bhagwan Mahavir and Buddha for his spiritual teachings. So unlike Sanskrit, which was standardized and codified, and it was used in every conversation, it was shaped by, it reflected the common man's voice and was constantly adapting, making it accessible, dynamic, and living. Vedic or Chandas is the oldest recorded language of the Indo-Aryans, and it was preliminary liturgical language used in composing hymns and rituals. However, it was not the everyday spoken language, and Prakrit emerged from the vernacular speech of same time and shares root with Vedic, showing how closely these two language traditions are related in phonology and syntax. So, as he already discussed, that these two languages, Prakrit and Sanskrit, is like just like sisters, like a Vedic tradition and Shaman tradition. So these are the beginning, the periods, linguistic periods of Prakrit. And Prakrit's rise in society and literature. It is declared a state language by Emperor Ashoka. Emperor Ashoka, after embracing Buddhism, sought to communicate his policies and moral messages directly to his peoples. So he chose Prakrit, written in Brahmi script, for his for his inscriptions, for his famous rock inscriptions, pillar edicts spread across his vast empire. So this act officially recognized Prakrit as a language of state and public discourse. Wait. So over 2000 inscriptions in Prakrit exist. Thousands of inscriptions from ancient Indian have been discovered in Prakrit, covering a wide span of time and geography. And these include regional, religious, political, and legal inscriptions, which are crucial for reconstruction India's early history. So these inscriptions shows how Prakrit remained in use for centuries as public and administrative language. जैसा कि मैंने आपको ऑलरेडी बताया था, क्लासिकल लैंग्वेज जब हम बात करते हैं, मीडियम फॉर एपिक्स, नैरेटिव एंड लिरिकल, used in literature by Bhas, Shudrak, and Kalidas. So classical Sanskrit dramatists such as Bhas, Shudrak, Kalidas, even Ashwaghosh also, Bhavbhuti also, used Prakrit extensively in their plays, in dramas. While Sanskrit was reserved for kings and scholars in dialogues, the other common people, the Prakrit is used by common people, and the like villagers, like clown, like women, like commoner, like child, like children's. So this lending realism and emotional depth to the drama. So this bilingual format enriched Indian classical theatre also. Prakrit is used in epics, narrative, and lyrical poetries, Jain and Buddhist scriptures. Prakrit was used to compose महाकाव्यास. मैं आगे भी आपको इसके बारे में बताऊंगा कौन कौन से हैं इसमें. So महाकाव्य और खंड काव्य, कथा काव्य, narrative stories literature, and it was also the language of Jain agamas and Buddhist canonical texts like Tripitaka in Pali. So the simplicity of Prakrit made it ideal for expressing spiritual truths, poetic emotions, and cultural tales, which could reach a broad audience. So language such as Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Bengali, and others are direct or indirect linguistic descendants of Prakrit. So many of their grammar rules, vocabulary roots, and phonetic structures can be traced back to Prakrit dialects. So thus Prakrit formed the linguistic foundation of modern India. आज भी हम देखेंगे तो हिंदी में, गुजराती में, बंगाली में, मराठी में बहुत सारे प्राकृत शब्द हमें मिलते हैं. आज भी एज इट इज ही मिलते हैं, है ना. आज भी एज इट इज बहुत सारे वर्ड्स मिलते हैं हमें जो हम आज भी उसको यूज करते हैं. Regarded today's as the mother of many languages. Yes, linguistics and scholars widely accept Prakrit as the mother language of various Indian regional languages, while Sanskrit provide a liturgical and literary model. Prakrit laid the foundation for natural language evolution. So this is why studying Prakrit is essential for understanding the development of Indian linguistic and literary heritage. So these are some of the information about Prakrit rise in society and literature. Now, there are two main divisions of Prakrit. Two main divisions of Prakrit. There is first level Prakrit, which is also called Pratham Stariya Prakrit, pre-literary or vernacular stage. It has two types, narrative and literature. ये दो प्रकार के माने जाते हैं जो प्रथम स्तरीय फर्स्ट लेवल प्राकृत है. ये दो मैं हिंदी में भी थोड़ा थोड़ा आपको उसमें कवर कर ले रहा हूँ. दो प्रकार के माने जाते हैं, टू मेन डिविजन्स किए हैं, प्रथम स्तरीय प्राकृत एंड द्वितीय स्तरीय सेकंड लेवल प्राकृत. फर्स्ट लेवल प्राकृत भी दो टाइप्स का है, नैरेटिव एंड लिटरेचर, जिसको हम हिंदी में कह सकते हैं कथ्य और साहित्य. कथ्य मतलब जो बोला गया है, ओरल ट्रेडिशन, जो कहा जाता है. So narrative language existed in the form of common people in ancient times. Narrative language यानी कथ्य साहित्य, जो सिर्फ बोला जाता है, लिखा नहीं गया कहीं. जैसे आप जानते होंगे, जैसे रामायण है, रामायण उसको बहुत लोग बहुत सारी ट्रेडिशंस से सुनाते आ रहे हैं, राम कथा. तो वाल्मीकि रामायण और वो बहुत सारे वो लिटरेरी रामायण पे नहीं जा रहे हम, लेकिन जो फोक लैंग्वेजेस में जो रामायण सुनाते आ रहे हैं, एक अलग क्या बोलते हैं, वो आर्टिस्ट होते हैं, वो सिर्फ उसको अपनी परंपरा से गाते आ रहे हैं, कहते आ रहे हैं राम कथा को, रामायण को. तो दैट इज कॉल्ड कथ्य साहित्य, जिसको लगातार हम ओरल ट्रेडिशन से कहते आ रहे हैं, है ना. और अभी वो धीरे धीरे वो ट्रेडिशन अब जा रहा है, मतलब कुछ ही लोग बच्चे हैं ऐसा जो करते हैं, बाकी अब धीरे धीरे वो खत्म हो रहा है. सो इट्स लिटरेचर इज नॉट अवेलेबल, उसका कोई लिटरेचर अवेलेबल नहीं है, बट इट्स ग्लिम्स इज फाउंड इन छांदस लिटरेचर एंड इट इज कॉल्ड फर्स्ट लेवल प्राकृत. हम छांदस लिटरेचर की बात करते हैं तो हम वैदिक लिटरेचर की बात करते हैं, है ना. तो उसकी जो भाषा है उसको हम एग्जैक्ट संस्कृत नहीं कहते, उसको हम छांदस कहते हैं, ठीक है. तो ये टू मेन डिविजन्स ऑफ प्राकृत. एंड द सेकेंड लेवल प्राकृत, जिसको हम द्वितीय स्तरीय प्राकृत कहते हैं, इसमें लिटरेरी प्राकृत आता है, divided into 3 periods: literature, formal literature, Prakrit literature, divided into 3 periods. Prakrit literary development can be divided into 3 periods, like early period, which is 600 BCE to 200 CE. This includes actually the inscriptions of Ashoka's edicts and Jain Agamas, Jain Sutras, and Buddhist texts also in dialect like Ardha Magadhi and Magadhi. मैं यहाँ पे एक चीज बताना चाहता हूँ कि पाली is previously called Magadhi. Pali language previously called Magadhi, and Pali is also a type of Prakrit because Pali have some individual literature or Buddhist literature. That's why Pali stands उसको एक अलग भाषा का एक उसको वो दिया गया, अलग भाषा के रूप में उसको माना गया. बट पाली इज ऑल्सो अ टाइप ऑफ प्राकृत लाइक अर्धमागधी, लाइक शौरसेनी, लाइक महाराष्ट्री. सो पाली is also a type of Prakrit. Okay, so and the Magadhi is the previous name of Pali. In middle period, 200, which is 200 to 600 CE, 200 CE to 600 CE. In middle period, used in which is used in Sanskrit plays like Bhas and Kalidas plays. So in their plays, they use Shaurseni Prakrit for women character, for mostly the heroine of the for the heroine of the play. So they use Shaurseni Prakrit. Maharashtri Prakrit is used for lyrical parts. जब कुछ गाना होता था, जब कविता कहनी होती थी, जब कुछ इस प्रकार का होता था, तब उसको महाराष्ट्री प्राकृत वहाँ यूज करते थे. तो इस तरह से ये मिडिल पीरियड में कालिदास और भास के नाटक जो हैं वो शौरसेनी प्राकृत महाराष्ट्री में यहाँ पे आए, जो संस्कृत ड्रामा का पीरियड था ये. एंड द लेटर पीरियड इज 600 CE to 1200 CE. And this is actually called modern period. Later period is also called modern period. And this is the rise of Apabhransha language. It is also called Apabhransha period. You can say Apabhransha period. So Apabhransh and regional form. Rise of Apabhransh, the immediate precursor to modern northern Indian languages. तो अपभ्रंश हुआ, तो जैसे मैंने बताया था, जब हिंदी कहाँ से आई, प्राकृत से अपभ्रंश हुआ, अपभ्रंश से फिर हिंदी साहित्य का विकास, हिंदी भाषा का विकास हुआ. तो प्राकृत इज द ग्रैंड मदर ऑफ हिंदी, we can say. So these are the 3 levels. Three in second level, there are 3 periods: early period, middle period, and the later period, which we can say Apabhransha period. Now, the major dialects of Prakrit. क्योंकि आप लोग ऑलरेडी प्राकृत पढ़े हुए हैं, तो आप लोग ये जानते ही होंगे मेरे ख्याल से. Major dialects of Prakrit. Magadhi Prakrit. Magadhi Prakrit is linked to the ancient kingdom of Magadha, playing a crucial role in the linguistic transition to modern language like Hindi and Bengali. Magadhi mostly used in Buddhist texts. And the another one is Ardha Magadhi. Ardha Magadhi Prakrit holds historical significance as the primary language of Jain scriptures. Ardha Magadhi. Ardha Magadhi इसका इसलिए नाम है क्योंकि इसमें कुछ मागधी के, क्योंकि हर प्राकृत के अपने अपने एक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं, चाहे मागधी हो, शौरसेनी हो, महाराष्ट्री हो, पैशाची हो. तो मागधी को अर्ध मागधी यहाँ पे इसलिए है क्योंकि इसमें मागधी के साथ साथ अन्य प्राकृत के भी लक्षण, कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स मिलते हैं. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड अर्ध मागधी. मागधी के तो मिलते ही हैं, इसके साथ साथ मिक्सचर है और भी प्राकृत का, इस वजह से इसको अर्ध मागधी कहा जाता है। ठीक है, सो इट इज यूज्ड इन मोस्टली इन जैन स्क्रिप्चर्स। शौरसेनी प्राकृत, primarily spoken in northern India, particularly around Mathura, Shaurseni Prakrit stands out with its unique grammatical structures and features. It is used in Jain scriptures and dramatic dialogues. ये शौरसेनी जो भाषा है, ये हम ये इनका जो एरिया है, इस भाषा का जो विकास हुआ वो ये है जो मथुरा के आसपास का जो शूरसेन प्रदेश था, मथुरा के आसपास शूरसेन, तो उस शूरसेन जो प्रदेश है उसी के नाम पर इसका नाम शौरसेनी, शूरसेन शौरसेनी नाम यहाँ पे इसका पड़ा। और ये जो भाषा थी इसका बहुत ही जैन आगम जैसे अर्धमागधी लैंग्वेज को यूज श्वेतांबर आगम टेक्स्ट में होता है, और शौरसेनी लैंग्वेज का यूज हम दिगंबर आगम टेक्स्ट में देखते हैं। ओके, तो शौरसेनी जितने भी आगम हैं जैन आगम, इससे भी हम ये एक डिफरेंस एक हम यहाँ से भी पता चल जाता है कि जो शौरसेनी आगम है वो दिगंबर ट्रेडिशन से हैं, जो अर्धमागधी आगम से हैं वो श्वेतांबर ट्रेडिशन से हैं। और शौरसेनी लैंग्वेज ऑल्सो यूज इन ड्रामेटिक डायलॉग, जैसे कि मैंने बताया था कि ये जो प्लेस के जो हीरोइंस होते थे, जो वुमेन कैरेक्टर्स होते थे, वो शौरसेनी लैंग्वेज के डायलॉग्स बोलते थे। तो इस तरह ये शौरसेनी का एक अपना सिग्निफिकेंस है। देन महाराष्ट्री प्राकृत, महाराष्ट्री प्राकृत renowned for its use in classical Sanskrit drama. Maharashtri Prakrit, notable employed by playwright Kalidas, holds a special place in Indian literature. जितने भी क्लासिकल ड्रामाज हैं या काव्य हैं, पोएट्रीज हैं, ये सारे के सारे महाराष्ट्री प्राकृत में लिखे गए। ओके, सो और ये कैसे अभी नाटकों का भी हमने बात की थी, कालिदास, भास, ये जितने भी हैं, तो ये जितने भी संस्कृत ड्रामाज हैं वो महाराष्ट्री प्राकृत में है। लेकिन जब महिला पात्र बोलती है, जब वुमेन कैरेक्टर बोलता है, जब जो रानी बोलती है, जो क्वीन बोलेगी, तो वो शौरसेनी में बोलेगी, और बाकी जितने भी कैरेक्टर्स होते हैं वो महाराष्ट्री प्राकृत में इसमें बोलते हैं। तो इस तरह ये महाराष्ट्री प्राकृत में बहुत वास्ट लिटरेचर है, जिसको हम नॉन कैनोनिकल लिटरेचर भी कह सकते हैं। उसके बारे में आगे आएगा, मैं आपको बताता हूँ। देन पैशाची लैंग्वेज, पैशाची प्राकृत, पैशाची इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड भूत भाषा, both meaning language of demons, is noteworthy. It is said to be the language of the original Brihad Katha of Gunadhya. Gunad is the author and Brihad Katha. So उन्होंने पैशाची में लिखा है। तो but the major dialect of Prakrit is Magadhi, Ardha-Magadhi, Shaurseni and Maharashtri, which is widely used in literature. Now, philosophical and cultural impact. Prakrit in Jain Agamas, language, Prakrit in Jainism, language of Agamas, medium of Mahavir teachings. So Prakrit is not just a linguistic system, it's a cultural career, and it was used to record spiritual truths, folk wisdom, we can say moral values and metaphysical ideas. So Prakrit allowed the flowering of Jain doctrines such as non-violence, karma theory, the soul purity in the simplest language. So it unified a linguistically diverse society through shared concepts and stories. In short, we can say Prakrit was a tool of inclusion, bringing complex philosophical ideas within reach of ordinary people. So these are the philosophical and cultural impact of Prakrit. Now this is the classification of Prakrit literature. Now we come to the Prakrit literature because it's the introduction to Prakrit language. So I want to include all things in a very concise manner. So classification of Prakrit literature. We can classify Prakrit literature in 5 types. So first one is inscriptional archive. Inscription archive. So inscriptional archival Prakrit. So it is like Ashoka's rock inscription, edicts like Girnar, Kalsi. These are the areas: Girnar, Kalsi, Dhauli, Jaugarh, Mansehra, Shahbazgadi, Yergudi, Sopara. These are the places where the Ashoka's rock inscriptions are there in Brahmi Lipi, in Brahmi script, and in Prakrit language. But in Mansehra and Shahbazgadi, it is in Kharoshti Lipi. And the other inscriptional Prakrit is the Kharvel, the Hathi Gumfa in Odisha, Hathi Gumfa Shilalik. In Hathi Gumfa Shilalik, Kharvel is a Jain Samrat, Jain king, and Hathi Gumfa Shilalik, which is in 17 lines, and वहीं पर हमें पता चला था कि हमारे देश का नाम क्या है, भारत वर्ष है. उसकी ही 10वीं लाइन में वो लिखा है कि भरतवर्ष, यानी ये देश का नाम हमें जब पता चला कि अगर हम आर्कियोलॉजिकली देखें तो इसको यही एकमात्र हमारे पास एविडेंस है कि इस देश का नाम भारतवर्ष है. In Kharvel Hathi Gumfa inscription. The another one is the Agamic Prakrit. The another classification is in Agamic Prakrit. So in Agamic Prakrit, we already know there are 45 Jain Agamas. Some are accepting 32 Agamas. So in overall, they are not including Prakirnak, 10 Prakirnaks, and some differences are there. So so they believe in 32. So totally 11 Agmas, 12 Upang, 6 Avashakas, 4 Mool Sutra, 2 Chid Sutra, 10 Prakirnakas. So these these are in Agamic Prakrit classification. The another one is dramatic Prakrit. So we already discussed Ashwaghosh, Bhas, Kalidas, Shudrak, Bhagbuti. These are all are the they are the authors of drama. So this is also one of the classification of Prakrit, dramatic Prakrit. The another classification is Prakrit used by grammarians. So they are Chand. One of the grammarian is Chand, who wrote Prakrit Lakshan. Another one is Varruchi, who wrote Prakrit Prakash. Another one is Acharya Hemchandra, who wrote Siddha Hem Shabdanushashan, Purushottam Prakrit Anusashan, Trivikram Prakrit Shabd Anushashan, Karmadishwar, the Sankshipta Sara, and another one is Markandeya, who wrote Prakrit Sarvasva. So these are the 4 classification, and another one is literary Prakrit, so which I will discuss in next slide. Okay, so non-canonical text in Prakrit. So there are in poetry and rhymes. So there are Mahakavyas, and the 4 major Mahakavyas are Setubandh of Pravar Sena. Setubandh is a Mahakav, Pravar Sena is the author, and Gaud Bahu of Vakpati Raj, Kavi Vakpati Raj, Dvashtre Mahakavya by Hemachandra, and the Leela Vai Kaha by Kauhal Kavi. So these are the four major Mahakavya or Mahakavyas of Prakrit language. The another one is Khandakavya. Khandakavya is one of the Kansavaho, which the author of Kansavaho is Ram Panivad. The another contribution of his is Ushani Ruddha as a Khandakav. And the another one is Kumma Puttacharyam by Ananta Hansa. So these are the three major Khandakavyas. And another one is Mukta Kavya. Mukta Kavya. So two very famous Mukta Kavyas are there. First one is Gatha Saptasati. It's by Kavi Hal Kavi. And another one is Vajjalagam by Kavi Jayavallabha. Gatha Saptasati is a compilation of 700 verses of Prakrit, and it is very known, very popular in Prakrit scholars. Kavi Hal compiled the 700 superior Prakrit verses from various places, from various eminent acharyas or scholars, and he compiled the 700 verse. That's why it is the name of this Mukta Kavya is Gatha Saptasati, 700. So this is very very important, very significant. And Vajjalagam is also a very good Mukta Kavya. We also took in our MA course also in Vajjalagam. There are 36 Vajjas are there, and all 36 Vajjas are from different subjects like Sajjan Vajja, Durjan Vajja, and many. So this is also a very important text. And the another classification is Prakrit Charit Granth. Prakrit Charit Granth. Like Chaupan Mahapurisam by Sri Lankacharya, Jambu Charyam by Gunpal Muni, Sri Pasanahacharyam by Devgad Suri, which is also called Gunachandra, Mahavir Charyam by Gunachandra, and another one Rayan Chudaya Charyam by Nemi Chandra Suri. So these are some of the non-canonical texts in Prakrit. So Prakrit text, Prakrit literature is very vast. It is canonical, and canonical is also very vast, and non-canonical is also very vast. So and last year, October 2024, the government of India, Ministry of Education, also give Prakrit as a classical language status. Very late, but very fruitful. So this is the vast literature of Prakrit. Prakrit is very important to learn, to know about our spiritual tradition, to know about our linguistic developments, to know about our scriptures. So you all are learning Prakrit. So this is very good. Your interests are you are already learning Prakrit because you are coming from the certificate courses. So so finally, summary of key points. So Prakrit is a natural स्वाभाविक language, जैसा कि मैंने बताया था आपको कि प्रकृति का मतलब होता है जो प्राकृत प्रकृति शब्द से आया है, इसकी व्युत्पत्ति एटमोलॉजी बताएंगे, तो उससे स्वाभाविक नेचुरल पीपल्स लैंग्वेज रही है, रूट ऑफ मैनी इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस, एंड लिटरेरी रिचनेस एंड स्पिरिचुअल सिग्निफिकेंस, एंड इंटीग्रल टू जैन बुद्धिस्ट traditions. It is very very important and very because let's sum up the key takeaways. Like Prakrit is natural, people's language, not a product of light scholarship, but of common uses. So it is the root of many Indian languages and the soul of Indian spirituality. And its literary beauty, especially in poetry and Jain Agmas, is very unmatched. And it was the chosen medium of Bhagwan Mahavir and Gautam Buddha, who changed the religious history of India. Even today, understanding Prakrit offers a window into ancient India's moral, spiritual, and cultural life. So, so today I explain the I touch every aspect of Prakrit in a concise way to introduce Prakrit language and the significance of Prakrit language. So आपको कुछ भी पूछना है, कुछ जानना है, कुछ डिस्कस करना है, तो आप कर सकते हैं. होप कि जितना भी आपको बताया है वो आपको एक आपको प्राकृत के बारे में आपको ऑलरेडी आप लोग जानते ही हैं, लेकिन इससे और भी एक इंसाइट मिली होगी अलग अलग एस्पेक्ट से. आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं? अमित जी, भावेश जी, देविका जी, इतन, सिंह राजा.
No, this was fine. And this, you went through some more depth, so really appreciate that.
Okay.
This was very informative. We had
Yes.
seen a version of this in the past, but we brought in some additional factors that is very, very helpful.
I told you I could not understand.
Okay. Because some of the people are new also. That's why I used from basics.
No, that was helpful.
Yes.
Even if you go to, I was in a customer college for this, and everybody is like, how can I talking about it?
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think it was refreshing because even though some of the things were done, it is, since you are not doing it, you forget. So
Yes.
it's a very good refresher, yeah. And I think even though we had done the certificate, I think a lot of things are forgotten because we don't practice regularly.
Because whenever we start the course, the first introductory class is must, because some of the peoples are new, directly enrolled in diploma classes. So that's why I used the every small things also in our PPT, in my PPT, and discussed about. Anyone else? Anyone want ask a question, or anyone want to discuss anything? केतन, देविका जी, आज जो क्लास की है उससे क्या आपको मतलब?
Yes, that is very informative. That is very informative. इतनी डेप्थ में इतना कुछ मालूम भी नहीं था. तो we learn lot of things. We understand कि हिस्ट्री क्या है अपनी. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So I do have one question.
Yeah, Singha Raja.
So is there anyone before me?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So the question is, because the time span of the evolution of Prakrit languages is actually quite long. So I'm wondering, like, because Prakrit languages were highly associated with development of Buddhism as well. So I'm wondering, like, the developments of Buddhism. So after it spread to the Tibetan plateaus, East Asia or Southeast Asia, like certain Prakrit languages texts were preserved, like how they were preserved in Sanskrit and Pali texts. Is that happening during the historical events? I'm not very sure, because I've never heard about that, or I've never read anything like that from any books.
Okay, as I say that you want to know about the Prakrit used in Buddhism.
Because, for example,
Yes, yes,
if we look
there
at
is a
the Chinese Mahayana Buddhism,
yes. Okay,
there is a long tradition of carrying on like the Sanskrit texts,
okay,
and also in the Vajrayana Tibetan Buddhist tradition, they also transliterate like the Sanskrit uh, texts into Tibetan texts. Yeah. So did the Pali texts
Mhm.
in the local versions in Thailand and Burma.
Okay. As I already said, that Pali is the Magdi is the old form of Pali, and because of this, Pali is also as a kind of Prakrit, and one of the Dhammapad is in Prakrit language also in Buddhism. So that's why, and the its connection with Sanskrit is like I already said, Sanskrit is a literary form, and the Prakrit, and both language influenced each other. Both language influenced each other. बहुत सारे हमें प्राकृत के वर्ड हमें और संस्कृत के वर्ड एक दूसरे के में मिलते हैं, बट ये जो प्राकृत है ये बहुत फ्लेक्सिबल रही है, बहुत इसमें रिजिडिटी नहीं रही है, इवन ग्रामर में भी नहीं रही है, एक ही शब्द के बहुत सारे इसके रूप बनते हैं। तो इस तरीके से प्राकृत को इसलिए सिंपलेस्ट लैंग्वेज अगर कहा गया है संस्कृत के कंपैरेटिवली, तो ये चीज़ यहाँ पे हम लोग ने डिस्कस की है।
Thank you so much, Sergi.
Okay. So, Ketan, you want to ask? You raised hand.
I think he's put the question in chat.
Okay. Can you briefly explain how inscriptional Prakrit is different from other forms? Maybe we will cover it in the future, but a short explanation would help. So, Ketan, inscriptional Prakrit refers to the form of Prakrit using ancient inscriptions, and especially those carved on stone, metal, or other durable materials for public display. So it differs from other form of Prakrit like literary Prakrit or spoken dialect in a few in some few ways, like purpose and audience. And inscriptional Prakrit was meant for official records, royal edicts, as I already discussed, religious donations, or something else. So the style is more formal and formulaic. And literary Prakrit like Maharashtri, Shaurseni, Magadhi in plays and poetry was crafted for aesthetic effects and storytelling. Okay, so the spellings in inscriptions reflect regional speech habits, but often followed a standardized administrative style. And literary Prakrit followed grammar rules set by scholars like Varruchi, and was polished for artistic purpose. So these are some of the difference, and many differences are the inscriptional Prakrit sometimes preserves older words form and grammar that literary texts later simplified or replaced. And inscriptional often shows influence from the local vernacular of area where they were engraved, and literary Prakrit was more uniform and codified. So in short, we can say inscriptional Prakrit is practical, administrative, and regionally influenced, while literary Prakrit is artistic, and a polished form of for performing or reading. So I think this is clear. Okay, thank you. Okay, so आज हम क्लास यहाँ पे कंक्लूड करते हैं, और आपके कोई भी क्वेश्चंस हो और वो ज़रूर आप लोग जब भी मौका लगे तो आप लोग ज़रूर पूछिएगा। ओके
Aryan जी, just a couple of quick questions. ये रिकॉर्डिंग आप अवेलेबल करेंगे हमारे लिए?
हाँ, मैं करूँगा। रिकॉर्डिंग हो रही है एक्चुअली, हाँ हो रही है। मैं
Yeah, it would be great, Sergey, if you could.
उसमें आपको शेयर कर देंगे।
और दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि आप ये
आपकी आवाज अभी नहीं आ रही है।
करने वाले हैं या
अभी आ रही थी, अभी नहीं आ रही है।
I'm sorry, go ahead.
नहीं आ रही है अभी।
Yeah,
अभी आ रही है।
Sergey, it would be great if you could record each station and perhaps put them in a Google Drive or something like that.
Okay, thank you so much. And nice to meet you on Meet.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra. Thank you so much, sir.
देविका जी कुछ अच्छा आवाज ही नहीं आ रही तो ओके
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Most of the requirements come from the US office. The executive of India, but